Hey guys, and welcome to the Game Code. I am your host, Adam Morehouse, and we've got a great Halloween-themed show for you this week. Lots of frightful, scary things, lots of talk of chocolate bars and all the things that make your teeth melt. But of course, awesome gaming news as well. Let's see what we've got lined up for you this week. This week, we at the Game Code gathered lists of our favorite horror games to get in the Halloween mood. We share the top critically acclaimed games, our favorites, and of course, your favorites as well. Then we're back with Jeffrey Maximus Black Johnston for part 2 of our interview. If you missed last week's, shame on you. He's our local live streamer and YouTube legend, and of course, my YouTube partner. That was too good of a guest for just one episode. But first, we gotta catch up with some news, so let's get on it. November 8th marks the beginning of HowlCon 2013, one of the East Coast's biggest conventions. There will also be a ton of fans on site to celebrate everything geeky and nerdy, including stores selling cool merchandise, cosplay, game rooms, and more. Special guests include Billy D. Williams of Star Wars, Peter Davison of Doctor Who, and of course, Garrett Wang of Star Trek. I've been waiting all year to try out my new Princess Leia costume. One of the biggest Atlantic Canada fighting game tournaments is near. Low Tide Throwdown brings you tournaments for everyone, everything from Street Fighter to Persona 4 Arena. Come down to the NSCC Waterfront campus in Dartmouth on November 23rd and 24th, and if you can't make it or you need more information, you can always check out the live stream action on ralstonarcade.com. I can't even do a Dragon Punch properly, but with Persona there, I might just have to show up. Activision Blizzard has somehow managed to buy itself. After a ever so slight hiccup in the form of a lawsuit from shareholders, Activision Blizzard has bought the majority of shares in, well, itself, dropping the parent company Vivendi and becoming independent once more. The stock deal jointly returned the controlling interest to Activision Blizzard and Bobby Kotick himself, in a deal that cost over $7 billion when all was said and done. I'm sorry, but I just can't get around the fact that Bobby looks like Satan. We might be a little late to the party, but Valve just announced, and by just, I mean a long time ago, announced this 3-part follow-up to the Big Picture mode. The first is Steam OS, a free dedicated Linux platform that only runs Steam. The second is the Steam machine itself, a living room box designed to bridge the gap between PC gaming and consoles. And lastly, is what they want to call the Steam controller, although I'm not exactly convinced that it's an actual controller, that replaces analog sticks with haptic feedback touchpads. 3 announcements? Half-Life 3 confirmed? No, probably not, I'm sorry. Frictional Games has just announced Soma, the spiritual successor to its massive hit, Amnesia. Since allowing the Chinese Room to develop an official Amnesia sequel without any heavy involvement from them, Frictional has been able to work on the game for the last 3 years in secret. Personally, I just can't wait to watch Day 9 man mode it all over again. Next up, some ex-Valve employees actually want to get in on some of that hot AR/VR goggle action. Former Valve employees Jerry Ellsworth and Rick Johnson have begun a Kickstarter for Cast AR, a glasses prototype that seems to merge the gap between the Oculus Rift and Google Glass. This means things like head tracking and virtual reality by projecting an image on the glasses themselves, but it also means other games can benefit from the augmented reality. The Kickstarter uses Warhammer as an example, allowing the hardware to track each miniature as you scan it in. That's all well and good, and I'm quite impressed, but what I'm really interested in is whether or not I'm able to scan my opponent's power level with it. In case you haven't heard enough about Grand Theft Auto 5 recently, their impressive 3-day total of $1 billion and more has been immortalized by the Guinness Book of World Records. Grand Theft Auto 5 made a cool $1 billion in just 3 days, smashing the 15-day total of Black Ops 2. It's also been granted the title of Best-Selling Action-Adventure Video Game in 24 Hours, Best-Selling Video Game in 24 Hours, Fastest Entertainment Property to gross $1 billion, Fastest Video Game to gross $1 billion, Highest Grossing Video Game in 24 Hours, Highest Revenue Generated by an Entertainment Product in 24 Hours, and Most Viewed Trailer for an Action-Adventure Video Game. That's all fine and good, but what I really need to know is, can it teach me how to steal a car? for reasons. And to finish off the news, here is your next month in video game releases. My body might be ready for the new consoles, but I don't know if my wallet is. When we come back, the best horror games for Halloween with staff picks and suggestions from our community. Then we're back here with Mr. Maximus Black, and it's all coming up here on the Game Code.